All right, it's next morning now, and I'm putting fuel in, filling up one of my tanks anyway. Uh, we'll be actually we are already on the Tomby Waterway, heading south, and we probably gonna have one, maybe two stops at the most, and then we'll be in Mobile, Alabama. Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and take off here shortly. Uh, I've decided to figure out how far I was going to run today. Uh, and there's a Bobby's Fish Camp that I was told about that we can pick up fuel there. So that's a good thing. I could probably stop there overnight, pick up fuel. There's not a whole lot there from what I was told. They can pick up gas. Used to have a restaurant that everybody used to say was pretty good, but for some reason they've shut down the restaurant. And it's quite a ways to go somewhere to grab something to eat, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I got plenty of food on board, so that's not a major concern for me. Uh, we've gone ahead and fueled up now, and we will be taking off here shortly, heading south again, like I mentioned. We actually don't have too many more days. I would say 1, 2 days, and we'll probably be in Mobile, Alabama, which is the end of the river run. The Tomby Waterway is basically was the last long river run that we're gonna make. There is a short run on Mobile River. The Tomby Waterway also runs into Mobile, but it runs in on the east side of Mobile Bay. We're going to be going into the west side of Mobile Bay, just to go ahead and there's a Parker's Marine, or not a Parker's Marina. There is a Turner Marina, which I was told was pretty nice, and there's a couple of restaurants right across from there that say they got it's a nice place to visit, friendly people. So we are going to go ahead and stop there also in Mobile, Alabama. But in order to get to the west side of Mobile Bay, we're going to have to cut into the Mobile River instead of going all the way down the Tomby Waterway into the other side of the bay. So either way, it's the same run really. It's just whether you want to end up on the east side or the west side of the bay. I've elected to go ahead and get on the east side of the bay. So we're going to start running here shortly. As you can see, we're taking off now. We should make it without a problem, I would think, to Bobby's Fish Camp. Like I said, it's a fairly, I think it's a fairly short run. I don't think it's very long, but I did look it up before I left, and it doesn't seem like it was going to be a very long run today. So it's been nice. I think, like I said, we're probably going to stop 1 or 2 days before we get to actually Mobile. But I'm not sure that there are anything between here and Bobby's Fish Camp. There's nothing out here. So if I don't get to Bobby's Fish Camp today, then I'll just have to drop anchor somewhere and stay overnight, and then continue the next day to finish up and get into Bobby's Fish Camp. It's a beautiful run so far. Nice scenery. You can tell it's starting to get a little cold in the mornings. Not cold, but cool in the mornings. which makes it nice. It makes it nice when you're running during the day because you're not hot. Uh, you're so because you're close to the water, you're getting a nice cool breeze the whole run. Uh, and I even sometimes shut down the fans because it gets a little too cool. But so far, it's been a real nice, comfortable run. No big complaints so far on the rivers here. Weather's been pretty nice, even when the weather does pick up a little bad or it gets a little bad. Uh, the rivers seem to be still pretty steady water, nice and no chops, no high chops. Of course, I'm not, you know, when you're running out on the intercoastal or you're running out on the bay or something like that, like Chesapeake Bay and stuff. Yeah, it can turn on you fairly easy here. Um, Here I am going into waiting for a lock to go in. And the boat there you saw, that tugboat, was just came out of the lock. So they just called us in. There's about 3 boats here waiting. They just called us in, and because I was the smallest of all 3 boats, they went ahead and told me to come on in first so I can go all the way forward, so I don't have to worry about fighting the prop wash from the bigger boats, which is pretty nice when they do that, stuff like that. They realize that, hey, these bigger boats have a bigger prop wash because they got a bigger prop, so they can toss a small boat like mine around pretty good. Uh, so the lock masters seem to, have their stuff together because I wasn't the first one here. Even though they allowed me to go in first, I wasn't the first one to here. It's supposed to be first come, first served. So whatever boat was here first, they have first shot of coming in. Not only that, but I was already one of the closest ones to the locks. So I would have come in. I would have had to wait for quite a while for the other 2 boats to come in. So they went ahead and told me, go ahead and come in. The other boats started coming in right behind me also. This is again just standard little lock here. We're gonna be tying up all the way forward, and again, I'm not gonna film the whole dropping down and all of that because it's no big deal. It just, the water starts draining out. When it gets all the way drained out, the gates open and you go through it and you're done. So I'm not filming the whole thing again, mainly because I've already shown what it's like. But like I said, here we are coming in, getting ready to tie up here all the way forward. And once we do that, they'll go ahead and drop us down. This drop right here, if I wasn't mistaken, they mentioned something about it was 42, 43 feet drop here. And you can see that pin that I just went by. That's the one that I tie up to. Now this pin actually sits like in a barrel shaped thing that they built. And what it does is it floats with the water. So as the water goes down, this pin and that's floating goes down with it. And that's what keeps your boat tied close to the wall here, because it's tied up to that one pin, which is going down with the water flow, and then it comes up with the water when they fill it up. So it's all gravity fed again. These docks are the only thing that they really use electricity for is to open and close these gates that you see opening now. That's the only time they need it. Other than that, it's like a bathtub. You fill it up and you drain it. You fill it up and you drain it. And those pins, like right now, I'm untying the lines from the pin. I have 2 lines, one from the forward cleat and one from the rear cleat. And they're both tied up to the same pin. So it kind of keeps the boat steady, and I don't really have to do anything but make sure these lines don't get caught up anywhere. Uh, haven't had that happen yet, so so far everything runs pretty good. But as soon as I finish opening the gates completely, we'll hear a big horn blast, and that's to let you know that you're now cleared to go ahead and go on out the the lock. Uh, and what I've done is I've gone ahead and untied my lines now, started up my motor, and pushed myself off the wall, and just waiting for the horn now to blast to put it in forward and move forward and get out. Fairly simple process, easy to work with. You definitely have to have your fenders out because you can seriously damage your boat on these walls, sea walls here. Because the boat's going up and down, so it is moving, and you don't want to damage anything on the boat. So it's a good thing to have your fenders out, and if you tie up your lines okay, you're pretty safe. They should be blowing the horn here pretty soon, and I should be able to pull out and continue with our travels, our adventures. Like I said, we've gone through the Mississippi already. We went through part of the Ohio River, which we were upstream going through the Ohio River. They told us that the Tennessee River lock right at the Ohio and Tennessee meet, that they were doing work on it, so they weren't sure whether you were going to be able to go through it or not. So instead of trying to go down to Tennessee to see whether that lock was going to be opened or not, they suggested we go a little bit further on the Ohio River, get on the Cumberland River, come down into Kentucky Lake, and then from there there's a little crossing over, a little dugout channel that they put there to get you into the Tennessee River. So we're taking that route. We're going to go up to the Cumberland River. And then when we did that, we came down through, that's when we ended up in Green Turtle Bay Marina, which is where we saw the other 22-foot cdory there. Now that we're out running here, I saw on the map some little indications that there were some limestone rocks that were out here somewhere. So hoping I can run into those while it's still daylight and be able to film them as I go by there. They're known, I guess, they do a lot of granite and limestone cuts, I guess is what you would call them. I'm not sure, but I guess they cut out a lot of limestone and a lot of granite, white granite, from what I was told, out of this area here. So far, I mean, all we've been able to see is just a nice view of the trees and the high top carvings out here. Went ahead and we did make it to this spot right here where I was able to pick up fuel at a little marina. And it turned out that this park here was having a festival. Had live bands playing. They had like 5 different bands come in and play that one night. They played till about 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I went ahead and tied up and I stayed here overnight, figuring why not? It seems like a nice place to stay. I was able to get off, grab something to eat. They had hot dogs, barbecue, and nice, good music. So I enjoyed myself that evening. Then the following morning, I went ahead and took off. And as you can see there, here we are going past a barge here. And again, it's fairly simple, nice, and the weather's pretty nice. No rough winds or rain in the forecast. So I was able to make it another day here, a nice smooth day of traveling. Actually, the whole time I've been on the river since I got in Chicago into the Hudson River, it's all been fairly good. I think if anyone is considering making a nice trip of it, going up and down the rivers is the way to go. Uh, when I was going up the intercoastal on the Atlantic side, uh, there were some areas where you actually had to watch and kind of consider, should I take off or not, because of that, because of the weather and the winds and stuff. So far here on the rivers, none of that has come into play. Of course, we haven't run into any storms anywhere, so maybe that helps. But all in all, it's beautiful scenery, enjoying the trip, having a great time. And you can see here's some rock formations that we're coming into now. The white rocks is what they called them, but I think they said it was actually white limestone and part of it limestone and part of it I'm not sure if granite, I guess, but I know it. I know they said that's around this area. There's a lot of this stuff here, and it's and it looks pretty nice. It's I didn't get too close because I didn't know how deep it was in that area. So, but I just got just close enough to where I could film it, and you can see it's one of the must film, I guess, things while you're going through here. That was their famous claim. There is that they have this type of rocks out here, and I guess they mine it too. So that was another thing. But we are getting to the point now where it's starting to get late, and I'm trying to figure out. I looked on the map. I doubt that I'm going to make the fish camp today. So I'm starting to look and see whether there's a place I can drop anchor somewhere, preferably not on the river itself because of the big barges coming by and everything, but find me a little creek somewhere, just to kind of help shelter me from all the big barges that are going to come through the night, because these barges work all day 24/7. So at night you're probably not, I don't see them, but I can feel them coming through because I can hear them. So you're probably going to end up having 3 to 4 of these large huge barges come through at night. And if you're tied up or you're anchored off on the river here itself, of course you're going to pick up their wake as they're coming by you. And they definitely probably wake you up. So I haven't. It's kind of hard to get away from the main channel, because if you're all by yourself, now if there was 2 or 3 boats with me, and we all went into the same little creek or into the same little cove, it wouldn't be bad. It would be nice because you're in protected waters and you got other people around you. But when you do that on your own and you're the only boat and you're in this cove and there's nobody around to see if anything's going on, it kind of gets a little scary. But once again, I decided, hey, I've been doing this for a while now. Haven't really gotten into any big problems doing that. So I started looking on my map and started seeing where I was going to go ahead and go into a little cove somewhere and spend the night. I did find one. So I knew it wasn't too far from where I was at right here. I was getting pretty close, so I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll just stay one more night. I didn't think I was going to be out here 2 nights in a row, having to stay out on the hook. But I found that park where I didn't have to stay on the hook. I just tied up to the dock. But I think I'm going to have to drop anchor here somewhere, because I don't see anywhere on the map any place where there's docks or a park or anything where I can stay overnight. So And as you can see, here's some more of the rock formations that are out here. I guess just erosion has cut away and cut them away, and it's a nice little sight. It's a beautiful sight to see. Uh, it's just amazing what Mother Nature can do. But anyway, we're getting close now uh, to getting out of this little area and trying to find me a spot for the night. Uh, Hopefully it won't be too much further. It is getting kind of late in the afternoon now, so I'm gonna need at least an hour, hour and a half to drop anchor, find a nice little spot where I'll be comfortable with, and get my dinner made for tonight, and then go to sleep. Might also do some editing on video. Not sure what I'll do, but always something to do while you're at anchor. But here's, like I said, part of the next trip. It was nice, nice and beautiful, and loving the whole thing. Myself personally loving it, loving the trip. Here I am the next morning. Actually, I found the cove, and there was actually a boat ramp right there, as you can see, which I didn't even notice that when I came in last night. So I decided to go ahead and you can see it's in a little cove, but it's out of the way where if something was to happen, boats going up and down the river would never notice that I was here. The only good thing about this thing is that it was a boat ramps, which means there's people bringing boats coming in and out of here. So if I did get stranded out here, at least I could wait for somebody to show up on with their boat to put in the water, and that would help as far as maybe trying to get me some help to with my boat or whatever. But everything went pretty smooth. While I was tied up here on the anchor, I did hear some noises out there, and of course, I'm not gonna get up in the middle of the night and start searching with a light. I do what I do is I do pay a lot of attention to see if there's anyone close by the river. But you're out in the woods, so you have to imagine there's got to be a lot of critters out there. Raccoons probably foraging for food, deer, bears. So it's kind of like, well, if you're out in the woods, you're going to hear some noises. There's no denying that. And most of the time, it's just some critter out there, foraging for food or something. It didn't keep me awake all night. I did finally after a while, I went ahead and fell asleep. But you can see here I am driving out in the morning, getting out of this little cove and going back into the river. The river is right ahead of me toward the right, and this is still part of that little cove. And it was kind of foggy because it was kind of nippy in the morning, but it wasn't too bad. I was able to float out of here without any problems. It took a while to get in here, and it took me a while to get back out. I didn't realize I had gone that far in. On the map, it didn't look like it was that far, or as far as I had gone. So turns out it's actually pretty far in. But as you can see here, now we're coming up into the river, and I'll be taking off from here down south again on the Tomby Waterway now. Yeah, because we've been on the Tomby Waterway for about 3 days now. So after Tomby Waterway, it's Mobile River for maybe 10-15 miles, and then we're in Mobile. As I was running this morning, happened to notice right behind me a boat coming, and I could tell just by looking at it what it was. It was another cdory, and actually it was that 22-foot cdory that I had seen over at Green Turtle Bay. I guess he was trying to catch up to me. So I did kind of slow down a little bit. And when we got to Bobby's fish camp, we both went ahead and tied up at the dock here. It turned out Bobby's fish camp also has some little cabins, which the guy on the other 22-foot cdory had rented a cabin to stay on in the cabin overnight instead of sleeping on the boat. So I went ahead and just stayed on my boat. I just paid to stay at the dock there. But they also had fuel. So the nice thing is we were able to pick up fuel. And now we're not that far away from Mobile. So we're kind of on the last stretch of the run. After talking to the gentleman here, he decided he was going to go ahead and just make it up to Mobile, Alabama, and leave his boat there. I don't know. I don't think he was going to continue with the trip or not, but either way, we went ahead and went together. Well, we've reached the end of this part here, so we will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.